So today we are talking about calculating the area and circumference of circles. Before we start, we need to go over the vocabulary of what circles have. So this point right here, from point Q to point C, is the radius. This one's pointing to the center point, C. This is the center. Over here we have an arrow to point U. It's not touching anything, but it is inside the circle, so it is called an interior point. Point T isn't touching anything and it's outside the circle, so this is an exterior point. This box is pointing to this whole thing, so this is the diameter. And this S is on the circle, so it's called a point on the circle. So one thing to keep in mind, our radius is only half. Our diameter goes from opposite side to opposite side. So as we move down to the definitions, the definition of the center is the point equidistant, so same distance, from all other points on the circle. So on the edge, all other points. The notation is you use the center to name the circle. So it is circle C in this case. Radius is any segment. So it has two endpoints from the center to the edge of the circle. In this notation, we've got 1, 2, 3 radiuses on this circle, so we can say segment CQ, segment CV, segment CA. Those are all radii. Diameter is any segment with endpoints on the circle and passing through the center. And it's notated just like a segment. So we have VA, so it's VA with a segment bar over it, and we speak that as segment VA. Interior point is any point inside the circle. Okay, up here we labeled U as our interior point. So all you have to do is call it as a point and its letter. So point U. Exterior point is any point outside the circle. And this is point T. And last but not least is point on the circle. And we said that is point S. So this is any point on the circle. moving on to our guided practice. So first let's make some connections between area and perimeter. If I said to shade or highlight the area and the perimeter, I want you to pause the video and do this yourself. Here I go. Area is what's inside. Same for a circle. Area is going to be what is inside. Perimeter, on the other hand, if we see this word rim, think of rim as like the edge. So it uses all of the edges or the rims. So on a rectangle, we could just multiply base times height. And for the perimeter, we just needed to add all four edges. Well, we don't have a straight segment here, so we have a different formula. So the formula for area is pi, and I want you to write pi is 3.14 multiplied by the radius, so I'm going to label this as r, squared. For the circumference, or the perimeter, there's two ways you can do it. You can say circumference is 2 times pi times the radius, or you can say circumference is pi times the diameter. So diameter has 2 endpoints on the circle and goes through the center, so that would be my diameter. So moving on for down here, how do we find the area and circumference of the circle below? Well, area is pi times r squared. Here, I'm given the diameter, and I need the radius. So what is half of 8? It's going to be 4 and 4. So that is my radius. So pi is area is equal to pi times 4 squared. Well, 4 squared is 16. So my area is 16 pi, and its units squared. Circumference is pi times d. I'm going to pick that one because they gave me the diameter. The diameter is 8. I'm going to label this as d, and this is r. So pi times 4, I'm just going to rewrite it so the numbers in front is 4 pi. We want to leave the answer with pi in it instead of multiplying by 3.14. Alright, so over here we have the area of a circle is 64 pi feet squared. Okay, so I'm going to circle that, and I'm going to label this down here. What is the diameter? So we're asked to solve for the diameter. So I'm not going to stop until I have my d. Let's set ourselves up for success. So area is equal to pi r squared. So I'm going to set that equal to 64 because they gave me my area. So I need to solve for r. So I can divide both sides by pi. Both y's will cancel out, and I'm left with r squared equals 64. Well, if this is being squared, then the inverse operation is to square root both sides, and we get r equals 8. Well, I have r, but I need d. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to say that d equals 2 times r. So what is 2 times 8? It's 16. And feet is our units. Alright, last but not least, number 3. The circumference of a circle is 10 pi feet. So circumference equals 10 pi feet. Find the approximate area of the circle. So we are solving for area. So in order to do area, we need to know r. Well, I can solve for r by finding first the diameter, or I can use my circumference formula up here that has r. So I'm going to set c equal to 2 pi r, and that is equal to 10 because they gave that to me in the problem. Now I need to solve for r. So I'm going to divide by 2. This is 2 pi, or 10 pi. And I get pi r equals 5 pi. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Divide both sides by pi, and I'm left with r equals 5. Well, now I can solve for the area. So if I plug in pi, or 5 for r, and I square it, I get 5 squared is 25 times pi, and this is feet squared. All right, good luck.